Now, up until that point, Krishna is just Arjuna's friend. And what you see over the course of the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm not going to go into all of it, but there are two trends I want to highlight. The first trend is that Krishna establishes his divinity and supremacy as God. And the second trend is that he instructs Arjuna how to think, not how to act, but how to think about acting so that the right results can come about. So on the first trend, where Krishna establishes his supremacy, he does that in many different ways. My favorite way he does that are in the 9th and 10th chapter, where he talks about himself as God. He says, I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation. I am the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. I am the light of the radiant sun, and amongst the stars I am the moon. Of purifiers I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapon I am Ram. Of fishes I am the shark. And of flowing rivers I am the Ganges. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring but from a spark of my splendor. And this is what I love. This is Krishna. He's showing his majesty. He's kind of showing off how great he is. Then he says to Arjuna, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? Like, why do you need to know? He says, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade this entire universe. So he's saying how grand and beautiful and opulent he is as God, comparing himself to the Ganges and so on. But he's like, this is just a spark of who I am. So I can't keep going on because you'll never be able to fathom the full majesty, the full beauty of who I am as God. So he establishes himself as God. And then he establishes a framework in parallel about how to act in the world, especially when you're going through turmoil like Arjuna was. I'll run through these a little bit quickly. He talks about performing your duty. He talks about being detached from the work. This is one of the most fundamental teachings of the Gita. He says, you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you're not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Just consider that. You're entitled to perform the actions, but you're not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, nor be attached to inaction. And for me, when I think about the activism and the campaign work I do, I think I'm the doer. I'm going to change this policy. I'm going to change this person's mind. But here Krishna is saying, you have a right to act, and you have to act, but you're not in charge of the results. You don't control the results. All you control is the intention behind your action. And so therefore, don't be attached to the results. And what you see in the climate movement and other activist spaces increasingly is a level of high burnout, because people are so attached to their results, and they're like, I'm putting so much time and energy and resources into this thing. Why isn't this thing moving? But Krishna is saying you have to be detached from the outcome of the work you're doing. Krishna later goes on to say that you have a responsibility to perform your own individual duty. We are all empowered with certain skills and attributes, and we all have to find out what those are and perform our duty accordingly. He says that we have to work for something bigger than ourselves. Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that as an offering to me. And then finally, this is what I love about the Gita. At the end, in the final chapter, he gives all these options to Arjuna. And just imagine, this is God expressing and explaining his kind of magnificent beauty and opulence. And he says to Arjuna, I have explained all of this to you. Now deliberate on it fully and then do as you wish. Deliberate on this fully and then do as you wish. Krishna is empowering the individual to take responsibility for their own actions. He's not saying, do this, do that, do that. He's saying, these are the options. Now you decide what you want to do.